Alright, now I got my template and I traced around it, as you can see, and be careful with these because they are air erasable, but they will even tell you on the pen, charcoal air erasable pen, please carry out patch test before use. And I have had this one, it's a newer one, so they must have, I don't know, maybe they changed the formula, I don't know. This is an old one that I've had, and it, believe it or not, still works, and it is, well, it's so faded, but it's, you know, one of the original purple air dries, but I've never had a problem with that. But this one, I have had it to where part of it faded and part of it didn't, so just be careful. Okay, now what I did was I traced out around my template like that, you know, with my pen, and that's what you're going to do. Okay, remove this. Now you can either use an X-Acto knife, I use it for a lot of things, or you can just snip into the fabric and just start cutting around with your fabric scissors, and they come in all different sizes, and I prefer little smaller scissors for intricate work like this. Then you just remove this piece. Now we're ready to flip this over like that, set this piece in the back, and it's hard to do with me holding a camera, but now you're beginning to see why you want a smaller template for reverse applique, because what you're going to do, and you want to position it where you know it's a 1/4 inch seam allowance underneath. Okay, now every time you have a point like this, just slightly cut 1/8 of an inch into that, and it will help you make that crisp fold. And then what I do is, using my iron, and a little bit of magic sizing, I make sure that it's all down, and then I use applique pins and I pin it, which you're going to see in the epattern, and then I just top stitch it down along the edge using the same color as my background fabric. Okay, so what you want to do, even here and here, you're going to cut into about 1/8 of an inch, and that helps you get that curvature going. And when you, with the magic sizing and your iron, it'll come out like this. And you can see how I tea dyed it. Now, if you want to get these dark spots on tea dyeing, you have to concentrate the tea, and I use Lipton, and you have to concentrate it, and I let this sit for like maybe 2 days just to get this. But this was just maybe, you know, 20 minutes with the hottest water I could do, and you're going to see that method in your epattern. So now what I have to do is position the other side, and I want those to overlap, and then you take your tool and you flip it over, your template tool, okay, and you do the same exact thing, and you trace around it, you remove your base, you cut it out, you put your base back underneath there, flip it over, turn it under, pin it down, use your iron and magic sizing if you need to, and I use tiny applique pins, and that's the proper thing to use. Now the way you get these panels, wing panels, together is you're going to have this template, and this includes the 1/4 inch seam allowance, so it's a true size, so you don't need to add a 1/4 inch seam allowance to get this size wing panel. And this is a 12 by 12 block. Now on this, in the body part of the butterfly, I really liked this and only had so much of it, so I limited my rectangle size, but you don't have to do that. You can buy enough fabric that, you know, you could have it like this, and when you put your magic sizing on there and you iron it down, it's going to be crisp and it's going to look like this. But the way I'm doing it, because these are a little bit smaller for the amount that I had, I'm just lining that up like that, and I'm coming in with my magic sizing, and I'm folding this over and going around the template, and when I turn it over, it will, and of course I'm doing it backwards. It's supposed to be like this, where your template's on the wrong side. And when you're done, it will look crisp like this. And then you just pin it. Once your wings are done, you just pin it and you stitch it in place. Okay? You can basically use these colors and these patterns in this fabric as a guide. You probably these are from long ago, and through P&B Fabric Company that I had. But you can choose any spring fabrics you like, and this is the color scheme that I chose to get that spring look. And I like the black because it helps that these other colors pop. And I also liked this because these yellows and blues and greens all are the same, and all the same family as the colors that I chose for these fabrics. So that's why I went with this. And I like the cherries. I think they're neat. So this is how you do your templates. And also, if you want to reverse applique this, what you would do is you would trim down your template, and once you got it, let me go over this one. Once it was done, now imagine it where it's just the template that's trimmed, and you would mark it off with your pen, your disappearing ink pen, and then you would use an X-Acto knife or scissors, and you would cut that out, and then you would lay your piece, and then you don't have to turn it. Then all you do is you lay this fabric underneath like this, and you turn it as you're appliquing it, and it looks just like that. Same thing, just as fast. Now this part is just an embroidery stitch. It's just a straight running vine stitch with 2 tiny little buttons that are color coordinated for the tips of the antennae. Okay? Alright, I hope this helps with your pattern work, and I can't wait to see your end result and what you come up with. So give me a holler on the blog at Eccentric Dollmaker, and I can't wait to see how yours turns out. Talk to y'all later.